Good evening. The regular meeting of the Revere School Committee is now called to order. Please rise to salute the flag. Roll call the members.
Mr. Ferranti? Here. Ms. Gravelisi? Mrs. Rizzo? Mr. Sinella? Ms. Ty? Mr. Visconti? Mayor Arrigo?
Here. We'll move to the superintendent's report. Dr. Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I want to, I'm very happy and pleased to present to you tonight our new high school principal. We are thrilled to be inviting Dr. John Perella back to the Revere Public Schools, where he pretty much began. He had a couple of years experience before he came to us back in the day, but began his career as a high school history teacher, and we went on to become an administrator first at Revere High School, and then at the Garfield Middle School, before he left us to take his role as principal at Medford High School 7 years ago. And we are thrilled to have him back with us tonight. John is a graduate of UMass Amherst. He's also a graduate of master's degree, I'm trying to remember, Salem State, and his doctorate is from UMass Boston. So he's got a very deep experience in urban education. He's a Revere boy, born and raised, grew up here. And we're just, I know so many of the staff members have reached out already to say how pleased they are to hear that John's coming back to take over the high school. He's going to have some big shoes to fill from Dr. Garcia, but I know that John's history and knowledge of the city and the school district will be phenomenal for the kids and will help everybody achieve. John's also an adjunct professor at Tufts University and UMass Boston. I'm not sure how much time he's going to have for all of that with his new position, but whatever challenge he faces, I'm sure that he'll be up to the task. So I want to welcome John. If you want to come up and say a few words.
Okay, thank you. Well, I would like to begin by saying this is a very extreme honor for me to be here with you tonight. This is, like Dr. Kelly mentioned, Revere is a very important city for me. I grew up on Proctor Ave, and the neighborhoods and the streets and the one-way areas and the back alleys, they're my playground my entire life. And I've always felt a real connection to the city and to the students and to the entire community. I'd like to thank a few family members that came tonight, my father and my sister and my son Benjamin. My wife is working presently. She's a biology professor at Salem State, and my daughter is the Red Sox game, and my other son had football practice tonight. So I would just like to say that this is a true honor for me, being in charge of the flagship of a community, of a public school district is an important role. I don't take that lightly. I understand the pressures that are pushed on public education today from inside and from outside. And I think it requires a lot of reflection and care and empathy. And these are the attributes and strengths I hope to take to this position. I'm looking forward to working with you, especially the mayor's office and the school committee, to make sure that this high school represents what you want from a public school system. So I'd just like to thank you, and I look forward to working with you throughout the rest of the year.
Thank you. Any members have any comments? Ms. Ty.
Wow. I could not resist saying something about John. I couldn't stop smiling when he walked in for the interview. I was so glad to see him again, glad that he was coming home, because I remember him when he was first starting out and doing a history fair and doing such great jobs with the kids, and a great teacher. And I have been received so many compliments, undeserved for me, but on your behalf, and people saying how happy they are that you're here. And I certainly am very happy that you're here and look forward to working with you. And I know that you will have success. And we will all do, I speak on behalf of the whole committee that whatever we can do to assure your success, we will do. Thank you. So, best of luck.
Thank you, Ms. Ty.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Ty. Any other members? Mr. Ferranti.
You know, John, we've gone back a long time. you know, you and I. All I can say is very simply is that I wish you nothing but the best for you and your family. I'm sure you're going to do a great job, and anything that we can do to help you, please call. And good luck with everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ferranti. Ms. Gravellisi.
Mr. Perrella, I just want to welcome you back to the city of Revere. This is the first time we have actually ever met. My children went to Revere High School and the Garfield, so I don't know how we never crossed paths throughout all those years, but we're really happy that you're back here in Revere. I, as well, like Carol had mentioned, have gotten a lot of feedback from staff and teachers that are extremely happy that when they heard that you were coming back, and we wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Rizzo.
Mr. Perrella, I have to say the first word when I think of you is respect. My sons have always had the utmost respect for you. Students, what I really admired is at football games, basketball games, and Revere was playing Medford, you'd always be in the audience. And you, well, first of all, it was like he didn't go anywhere. He really belonged here, so I'm glad it came back. But even the people in the gym or the football stadium, the respect that they had for you and still have for you. And I'll just end, one of our students was honored to interview you. And I love how kids just say whatever they want. But her words were, now he looks like a principal. And she was just so really proud to be in that interview process and so proud that she got to pick you as one of her finalists. So thank you for having, and you do, you have the respect of all of us. You'll have the respect of this whole school system, and we're glad you're here. And I'm afraid to look at anyone on the Medford School Committee because.
Thank you, Mrs. Rizzo. Any other members? Mr. Sinella.
John, I like the Revere flavor coming back. Having grown up on Mountain Avenue and Proctor Avenue, it's a little more insight and a little more understanding of what Revere is and what Revere is going to continue to be under your tutelage. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Mr. Visconti.
Doctor, I just want to say welcome. Although we never had the pleasure of meeting in the past, I too have heard quite a few things, great things about you. I look forward to working with you like the rest of the colleagues, and welcome and congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Visconti. Little known fact, I had both Dr. Kelly and Dr. Perrella my senior year of high school. I will not say what year that was, but and unlike Dr. Kelly's class, I did not earn a D in Mr. Perella's class, which I am reminded that I did earn that D. It was not given to me, I earned it. Welcome, Mr. Perrella, Dr. Perrella. Anything that my office can do and I can do, we're here to help, and I know you're going to be very successful, but I'll wish you luck anyway. I know you don't need it. But welcome aboard, and I know you're going to do a great job. Thank you.
Do you remember the grade you got in my class?
I got an A.
Did you get an A, or did you earn an A?
I earned an A. I earned an A.
Ask who your favorite teacher was. We'll tweak that later on.
That was Mary Ellen Dakin, actually. But, only because I did not have Miss Ty, I'm sure. So, but welcome aboard, and thank you. Dr. Kelly, we'll take a 1-minute recess. Back. Dr. Kelly, we're back on the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the next piece of the superintendent's report that we want to share is actually feedback that we've received from a parent survey that we sent out early this summer. And Dr. Vidala is actually going to take us through these results. I'll begin by just saying that we were really thrilled that over 700 parents took the time to complete the survey and give us feedback. And Dr. Vidala is going to share some of the generalized data from the district level regarding particular questions that we asked. We also have other information that was on the survey where parents gave us specific feedback about what times of day would be good for them to attend meetings that we're going to try to incorporate into our practice. And they also gave us other pieces of work around the school department that they'd like us to take a look at. So we will be working on with this data a little bit more comprehensively, and we'll also be incorporating this feedback into our school and district improvement plans. But with the results, Dr. Vidala.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. So as Dr. Kelly mentioned, we pushed out a survey to parents to try to get some feedback. I worked closely with Brianna Supis, our Director of Title I, and then we shared the questions with Dr. Kelly and Dr. Makaba. We were able to send out the email, the survey via email and post it on our website, so it was all done electronically, and we were thrilled to have over 700 parents participate. The first thing that we really wanted to do, one of our big areas of focus is engaging parents, having a family-friendly place that all schools are. So you'll notice that each of these is represented in a pie chart, and the red and blue are combined there for strongly agree and agree. So the question that was asked, my child's school is a family-friendly place that welcomes all families, and you'll see that combined the red and the blue add up to 92%. So 92% of our families feel as though their school is a welcoming place for their families and for all families. The next question that we asked is, do parents know who to contact at their child's school when they have questions or concerns? So again, if we add up the blue and the red, 86% of our families know who to contact. And also, Dr. Kelly mentioned that we have this information broken down by school, so each school can take a look and say, okay, we have some families who are not sure, and we can reach out in different ways, but overwhelmingly 86% of families feel as though they know who to contact. So we're doing a very good job there. Next is when people have questions and concerns, do they feel that their child's teachers, that they are listened to by their child's teachers? And again, 90% of families feel as though that when they have questions or concerns, the teachers listen to them and they listen to those concerns and take action. So we're very pleased with that as well. The next question that we asked is, my child's teachers help me to understand what my child is learning at school. And this is a big push that we've done recently, especially as we change report cards, or we adopted the Common Core a few years ago, and we've really done a lot to engage parents and bring them in and help them understand what are the things going on in the schools. You'll see different curriculum nights and whatnot. And so if you add up, it's 44 and 44, we have 88% of families feel as though they know what their child is learning at school. And we feel as though when we do that, the kids are really able to progress further in school, and parents are able to support the learning, and it's a really strong partnership. The next question is, I feel that my questions are answered and listened to by my child's principal. And when we add up those two, strongly agree and agree, we see that 80% of people have responded that their concerns or their questions are listened by their child's principal. So this is an area, it was one of our lower categories. Even though it's 80%, we're happy that 4 out of 5 people feel listened to. It is something that principals have shared that they want to dive a little bit deeper in, maybe reach out to some of those families that didn't feel listened to, and see if they can re-engage some of those parents. So that was an area where 1 out of 5 families, they'd like to try to re-engage. So that's helpful for our next steps. The next question was, my child's school has helped me learn about how to be involved in the school community. And again, we feel as though 80% of our families know how to be involved in the school community. And so this is another area where we're very happy that we're reaching most parents, but we want to reach all. So we'll take steps again to try to share with parents and engage them so that they can be more involved in the school community. And finally, the last question that we shared is, I've been made aware about parent workshops or opportunities through school notices, phone calls, emails, and then certain apps like Remind 101 or Class Dojo. and overall 91% of families feel as though that they've been made aware of these opportunities. And so this is an example of how we're really trying to engage people in different ways through school notices or the phone calls home. Some parents prefer these email or remind in Classroom Dojo, some of the electronic communications. So we're always looking for ways to engage families. And as far as our next steps, we have shared with each of the schools their specific data. So this was district-wide data, but each school has their own data broken down by their school and where they can improve. And we're hopeful that the principals will include that in their school improvement plans and will continue to look for ways and opportunities to re-engage families.
Thank you, Dr. Vidala. And as I mentioned before, we will continue to look at that data and use it to inform our practice. Dr. Vidala mentioned our efforts to engage more parents and help them understand how the school works and help them engage with the school community. And so one of the things that we're going to be doing as a district, and this feeds right into our district improvement plans and goals, which is the next item on the superintendent's report, is trying to participate more at the school level PTO meetings. So I'm going to dive right into our district improvement plan and goals, and I will mention that these are still in draft form. We presented them to our administrative team last Friday, and we still need to do some work with other educators through the Revere Educators Leadership Board, and of course we're looking for feedback from the school committee if they have any. But we changed the format of how we set up our goals, and all of this information, once it is finalized, will be on the website. We anticipate that should happen around mid-September. But I just wanted to the folks at home to get a sense of what this different format looks like. So if we look at the screen, we have the district mission and vision and our theory of action, which have not changed. This is the same information we've put out the last several years. And even our strategic objectives, because we're in the middle of a 5-year improvement plan, our strategic objectives are still focused around our 3 big areas of building community, teaching all students, and assessment of and assessment for student learning. So that is not different. We have developed that into a list of strategic initiatives that include some of the work we've been doing over the last 2 years as part of this improvement plan, and work that will be ongoing for the next 2 years. And so you see a list of strategic initiatives here. Those highlighted in green are the ones that we're going to focus on for the 2018-2019 school year. And just to read through those quickly, increase the opportunities for parents, students, and educators to provide input and feedback that inform district decision making. The parent survey is one example of how we hope to do more of this year. Another strategic initiative is provide opportunities for targeted intervention to close the achievement gaps for all students. The school committee allowed us to create a new central office position this year, which Dr. Garcia is now assuming, and that is the Executive Director of Data and Accountability. A lot of what Dr. Garcia is going to do in his new role is identify those students where there are achievement gaps or opportunity gaps and help us identify who those kids are, what the gaps are, and ways that we can remediate them. The next piece that we'll be working on this year is Strategic Initiative 3.3, provide ongoing professional development to teachers and administrators on effective assessment and grading. Assessment and grading continues to be a big initiative for us. We're still working on making sure that the grades we give students are reflective of what they know and are able to do, and separate out more of those social skills things that tend to influence grades, like did I do my homework? Was I well behaved in class? Did I show up on time? Those are all important measures and things that we want to provide feedback to students and parents on, but they're separate from understanding whether or not your child understands the content in their 5th grade math class or the content in their 9th grade history class at the high school. And so we're doing a lot of work on professional development with teachers and administrators around that. And we're also developing a program to do presentations at each of our 11 schools for parents to help parents enter this dialogue and give us some more feedback. We had a lot of feedback from PTO parents last year around the standards-based report card, but we want more input and more feedback, and we want to do more work with parents around the whole grading piece. So our directors are planning a series of programs that'll occur in each school throughout the district over the course of the fall to help engage parents in this work. And that speaks right to our fourth goal, which is developing consistency with grading practices across subject areas, classes, and schools within the district to ensure equity for all students. And you know, this is another piece that we've talked before, that the school committee has talked about before. You know, you could have Ms. Ty as your English teacher, who might be particularly strict or only grade based on test and quiz results, or you could have Dr. Vidala, who grades only on homework and classwork and participation. And so the same student could have two very different outcomes in those classes based on how those teachers choose to grade or how they choose to value different parts of behavior in the classroom. And what we want to do is make sure that that is consistent, so that a C in Mr. Vidala's class is the same as a C in Ms. Ty's class and reflects understanding of the content. Whether or not a child is engaged or well-behaved or proactive or takes ownership of their learning are other important pieces of information that we want to work with parents and students on, but don't necessarily need to be part of the 9th grade history mark. So this is all work that we'll be working on. These are our main strategic initiatives. You'll also notice others here are colored orange or red. Those are the ones that we've completed in the past 2 years during this 5-year cycle, and those colored in yellow are ongoing. And again, all of this will be up on the website so people can digest it in a more leisurely pace, and we'll be talking with staff and families about this at all of our meetings throughout the school year. Each of these 4 areas is further broken down into an actual action plan. And I'm going to just show you the first one for our strategic objective 1.6 building community. And just a reminder, this is the piece we're talking about, giving parents and students and educators more opportunities to provide input and feedback into district decision making. So we have some progress benchmarks at the top of the page. We've identified people responsible for each one and dates when we expect them to be done. So for example, one of these is increased participation on the Revere Educators Leadership Board councils, and we're hoping to have that done by the middle of October. Josh and Danielle are going to take the lead on that, which is why you see assistant superintendents listed as the people in charge. And if we go on to the bottom piece of this page, it talks about the early evidence of change. We want to be able to check in along the way and make sure that the work we're focused on is actually having an impact. So relating back to that Revere Educators Leadership Board, one of the things that we're going to try and do this year is include at least 1 parent, 2 administrators, and 6 teachers on each of our Revere Educator Leadership Board councils. So we'll be seeking folks to serve on those committees as we meet with PTOs across the district. And what we're hoping that this new format for our goals, which is based on a template provided by the Department of Education, will help give us a little bit more accurate measure of the progress that we're making, both in the interim as we work through these goals, but also in the summative when we get to the end of our 5-year plan in 2020.
Any members have any questions or comments?
The next item on the superintendent's report is actually the perfect attendance report. So we wanted to share with the committee and with the community at large that we did actually have 68 employees in the 17-18 school year who did not miss a single day of work. And you know, I think it's important to give accolades for that because it's a relatively difficult accomplishment to achieve. Most people find at least one day during the school year that they wake up not feeling 100%. And you know, we certainly don't want to encourage people who are sick to come into work. That just perpetuates problems, especially with our young students. But we do want to celebrate the fact that 68 of our employees, and I'll point out that these include teachers, cafeteria workers, custodians, administrators, paraprofessionals, people from, and the superintendent, who did not call in sick once in the 17-18 school year. So I just wanted to mention that briefly.
Any members? Ms.
Yes,
Ty.
Mr. Mayor, because I know how difficult it is on a certain day when you think you're going to be having so many kids in front of you, and, you know, you really don't feel up to par, and, you know, maybe you're getting the flu, or maybe you're, you know, you have a headache, and you still drag yourself into school, and wow, because, you know, no matter how good a sub we get, the sub is not going to be as good as even a sick teacher. So, I don't want to encourage them to come when they're really sick and going to give everybody else the flu. But to really do that extra effort, it's really hard. And I'm amazed at every single level, you know, elementary and also at every age of the teachers too. I looked through here quickly and there are people from from maybe the 3 generations that we have in our school system. And I think, wow, that really is congratulations to all of them, so.
And I should mention, each one will receive a letter of thanks, and that letter will be placed on file in their personnel file as well.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. The next item on the agenda is the student representative report.
I actually have one more item on my.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dr.
Sorry, the
Kelly?
last item on the superintendent's report is the one-to-one technology program at Revere High School that originated as a one-to-one iPad program and is now the one-to-one Chromebook program. And after some reflection, the leadership team at the high school has decided that they need to take a pause and take a minute to really reflect on whether or not that program is fully effective. So I've had a couple of inquiries from parents asking, when are we going to come and get the kids their Chromebooks? You should expect a letter from Dr. Perella, if he hasn't already sent it out. It's going to go out tomorrow, notifying parents that the program, we're going to do a little bit of a pilot this year, where all freshmen and sophomores will receive their Chromebooks. Those will be distributed beginning the week of September 10th, so after the Labor Day weekend. They'll have registration for freshmen and sophomores to come and pick up a Chromebook and fill out the insurance forms and do all of those pieces of work. The program is going to be voluntary for juniors and seniors this year. So any junior or senior student who would like to purchase the insurance and sign out a Chromebook will be invited to do so, but it won't be required. We have worked with our technology department, and I have to give kudos to Jonathan Ferrara, who's our Director of IT, and to Steve Staff, who's our Director of Technology Infrastructure. They've done a lot of work on the network here at the high school and have made it ready for the Bring Your Own Device, or BYOD, initiative. And so now that the network is ready for that, we are able to invite kids to bring their personal devices. And again, in this pilot year, this is only going to be an option for juniors and seniors who already have demonstrated an effective understanding of how to use technology effectively in the classroom. But they'll be able to bring in their own device and have it made ready to access the Revere High School network in a way that still shields any sites that students should not be on when they should be focused on their academics. So again, more information will be forthcoming from Dr. Perella at Revere High School the next day or two. That information will go to students and families via their email accounts, and we'll collect some data this year. Another piece that Dr. Garcia will look at is how effective has this program been in terms of a cost-profit analysis and ratio, and use the feedback from students on what they think of bringing their own devices. Many of them have told us already that that's their preference. And at the end of this year, we will reflect on this pilot year and make a decision on how to proceed with the program.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly.
And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Alrighty. Next item on the agenda is the student representative report, which we will skip. Public participation, which we will also skip. And the consent calendar. Motion to approve?
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
Roll call.
Mr. Ferranti?
Yes.
Ms. Gravellisi?
Yes.
Mrs. Rizzo?
Yes.
Mr. Sinella?
Yes.
Ms. Ty?
Yes.
Mr. Visconti?
Yes.
Mayor Arrigo?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Report of subcommittees.
Yeah, I mean, I have it right.
Mr. Ferranti.
I mean, I have it right here in front of me. These look like what the changes were. I guess one of them was a temporary leave of absence. It actually has a salary schedule. It has an ELT differential. There's another differential with Article 5, Appendix A. And it lists the title of the directors. And that's about a quick synopsis that I can see here without reading the whole thing. So moved.
Motion to approve? Roll call.
Mr. Ferranti?
Yes.
Ms. Gravellisi?
Yes.
Mrs. Rizzo?
Yes.
Mr. Sinella?
Yes.
Ms. Ty?
Yes.
Mr. Visconti?
Yes.
Mayor Arrigo?
Yes. Dr. Kelly.
So just very briefly, I want to thank the Revere Administrators Association, in particular the administrators who negotiate on their behalf, for working with us collaboratively to really come to a quick negotiation that I think is favorable to the school committee and to the administrators, and recognizes and values the fact that we just couldn't run our schools without them. So thank you to their president, Matt Costa, and the folks who served on their bargaining team, including Nancy Martell, Diana Finn, and I feel like there was one more person who I'm forgetting. Bianca Quirk. Okay. So thank you all for your hard work. We appreciate it.
Ms. Ty.
You know, I'm happy to see that the changes in, for example, temporary leaves of absence for businesses that we negotiated with the teachers also were negotiated with the administrators, because it's only fair. You know, when I first started teaching, it was a big thing for people to move out of the teaching profession and go out of the teaching assignment and go into administration. That's kind of turned around now, an enormous amount of time, and oftentimes interferes with their family life. And so lots of teachers have made the decision that no, they just assume not move into administration. So I'm pleased to see that we were able to raise the salary a bit. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the help from the city, and we look forward to having continued support and help from the city side so that we can run a great school system the way we have. And I'm very happy that we have been able to take care of them in that way. I think they have been so important. Not that teachers aren't important, they certainly are, but they have been so important in moving this school system on to the next one. And I think that this contract shows that we really appreciate what they did. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ty. Mrs. Rizzo.
Yes, I too want to thank the RAA, and we like working with all our unions, but I have to say, sitting across the table from them, they had a smile always from the beginning to the end, and they were so willing to work together for what was best for everyone. And like Ms. Ty has said, they have been a valuable asset in moving the school system forward. So I thank RAA and each and every person that was at the table.
Thank you, Mrs. Rizzo. Any other members? No? Okay, we'll go on to old business, which there is none. New business includes the superintendent's evaluation. I will read into the record the end-of-cycle summative evaluation report of our superintendent, Dr. Diane Kelly. In compliance with the Massachusetts Educator Evaluation System, we, the school committee, are reporting on the end-of-cycle evaluation for Dr. Diane Kelly. Each school committee member had prepared their own individual assessment, and the following is an aggregate of the assessments provided. In terms of the assessment of progress towards multiple goals, for professional practice goals, they were met. The student learning goals were met, and the district improvement goals were met for the end of cycle report. And the assessment of performance on standards, Standard 1, which is instructional leadership, school committee, the overall rating of proficient, and the comments and analysis are the following. Dr. Kelly leads with knowledge and authority. For the past 2 years, she has concentrated on community building and assessment of and for student learning. Dr. Kelly works closely with the leadership team of the 5-district partnership and administrators to ensure rigorous aligned curriculum. Dr. Kelly uses data from multiple stakeholders such as teachers, administrators, and district assessment data to make informed decisions. The next performance rating is for Standard 2, which is management and operations. The overall rating was proficient, and the comments and analysis are that Dr. Kelly has done an exemplary job in trying to restructure some key positions to increase productivity. The school committee would like to see Dr. Kelly continue to make school safety and security a priority. Dr. Kelly has worked tirelessly during this difficult budget year. She has been in the forefront of political activity to address the financial inequities we are experiencing as a result of DESE's change in funding formula. For performance rating of Standard 3, which is family and community engagement, the school committee rated Dr. Kelly proficient with the following comments and analysis. Dr. Kelly continues to promote family and community engagement. She has shared student work by inviting parents and community members to academic showcases, as well as arranging student presentations at school committee meetings. Dr. Kelly continues to be responsive and available to all stakeholders. Dr. Kelly should continue to be visible at large and small-scale school and community events. She has made great strides in sharing information with the public. Dr. Kelly continues to work towards improvements in the Revere Public Schools website as an effective way of communication. Finally, the superintendent's performance rating for Standard 4, which is professional culture. The school committee rated Dr. Kelly proficient with the following comments and analysis. Dr. Kelly continues to model her commitment to high standards. She recognizes the diverse background of our community. She continues to employ strategies using student data, research, and best practices. Committee members would find it helpful to see data gathered from teacher input. Dr. Kelly manages conflict because she respects all points of view and works toward commonality rather than differences. Her driving force is what's good for the kids. With that, I will open it up to any members of the committee if they'd like to speak. I think the evaluation speaks for itself, but if any members would like to say anything, it's open. If not, we'll go on to the next item, which is the...
I never pass up an opportunity.
Ms. Ty, I should have known. Ms. Ty.
Well, you know, we have had a really hard time. I thank you earlier, Mr. Mayor, for helping us out from the city, and hope that you continue to do so financially. But I know there's been so much consternation about what has happened at the state level, or maybe what hasn't happened at the state level. And Dr. Kelly stepped, I'm not saying it's outside her comfort zone, because she's comfortable in almost any zone. But, you know, she has been a leader for us politically, going into the State House. Everybody knows her, she knows everyone. The person I wish she didn't know quite so well is Marty Walsh, but at any rate, she knows everybody else around, and has been a real leader. And I know she's been working with Mary Bork from Chelsea, Fred Forrester from Everett, and this fact that our kids have been so disadvantaged by the way that the formula is structured, and we absolutely need a change in that formula. And she has been there in the leadership position not only in writing op-ed pieces, but in going and advocating on a personal level at the State House, and doing all that. And for that, I am particularly grateful, because I know that's not easy, and because I know that that means that after she's in there all day, that she has to come back and do the work in Revere, so that she works long, long hours. And so thank you. And thanks for the leadership. And we still need it, because next year, we need a change in the formula. And I say my hero, Bob DeLeo, said, we are going to get it. So, thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Ms. Chai. Mrs. Rizzo? Oh, you were pressing the button.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the superintendent evaluation for
Mo-
17-18.
Motion to approve, seconded. All in favor, all opposed? So moved. We'll move on to, Dr. Kelly?
I just wanted to thank the committee for the time they took. I know it's not easy doing evaluations, but I appreciate you putting the effort in and taking the time to give us the feedback. We always have room to grow and room to improve our practice. And it's helpful to have some guidance and direction in ways that we can best do that to serve the needs of the kids. So I just wanted to thank you all for the time and effort that you put into the evaluation process.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. We'll move on to the approval of student and faculty handbooks.
Mr.
Ms.
Mayor?
Chai? Yep.
I move that we approve the handbooks presented to us, namely the one for faculty and adjunct personnel, the Revere High School yearbook, the Seacoast High School handbook. Sorry, I misspoke. Not yearbook, but handbook. Seacoast, and the athletic handbook, the middle school handbook, and the pre-K through 5 handbook.
Motion to approve? All in favor, all opposed? So moved. The student and faculty handbooks have been approved. Next item is the school committee interests. Any members? Seeing none, we'll move on to motions. Motion to recognize and approve the receipt of the grants from the project Lead the Way Incorporated in fiscal year 19. Ms. Franzi?
Thank you. We actually got 2 grants. One's for the Garfield Middle School, and the other one's for the Susan B. Anthony School, in the amount of $10,000 for each grant. The motion reads, please have the school committee formally recognize and approve the receipt of the attached grant for the Project Lead the Way, Inc. for fiscal year 2019. The funds will be deposited into a private grant account in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 71, Section 37A. Expenditures in progressive reporting will be managed by the Garfield Middle School and the Susan B. Anthony Middle School. So moved.
Motion to approve? All in favor, all opposed? So moved. Next motion is the request for the disposal of broken RPS technology equipment. Mr. Franti?
It's up to you.
There's a motion to waive the reading. Second, all in favor, all opposed? So moved. Finally, there's a motion that the school committee implement a policy that allows for hard copy communications to be distributed to students throughout the school district by nonprofit community athletic organizations. That the said nonprofit/organization must provide the literature or material to be distributed throughout the district. Any members?
Motion to move to policy committee.
All in favor, all opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye.
That will be moved to the policy committee. Any other business for the school committee? No. With that, we will adjourn to September 18th. Thank you.